meth up here.
Actually, no, enjoy yourself. Life's too
Why?
short.
Why? Because we could be blown up next week because of the war.
Unlikely.
Nuclear war coming.
Unlikely.
Meth up here.
Actually, no, enjoy
We
yourself.
sent Boris to help us.
Right, we're live and on air at the moment. I've started the clock. And boop. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And then there were two, but hopefully they'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world's greatest podcast, or soon to be great podcast, ever to go out of Fulham, or London, or the UK. A podcast where we know times are dark and difficult, but we are here to entertain you, to bring you the latest nerd news, comic books, films, movies, and all the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, my superior host, co-host, Big Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the boys from Bossk. You might notice we one down this week. The mic will be back again. Like some guardian angel sent from above, he will return. But for now, I hope you'll be happy with me and the Big Dave. Dave, how are you? Biggest Davis, how are you?
Cosmic.
Grumpy
My word
Dave.
for today. I'm not grumpy. I'm actually quite cold and wet, actually, because it's pissing with rain.
Oh, I thought you were saying because you watched Pam and Tommy. And left me shaking in a dark corner. Yes, indeed. Now we know we're a bit earlier, 2 hours earlier than normal, but we figured we'd just start the show. You can watch it whenever. We can broadcast whenever. Your microphone keeps moving in your face, which... Huh?
What?
Yeah. You don't want that. But I just like, yeah, that's the whole point in the internet. You can watch it whenever. So apologies if you missed us live as such. We are still out there, so please leave your feedback or your comments on the page. And we'll be only too pleased to hear from you. And yeah, that's it really. That's all. Thank you and good night. I'm kidding, like a shock on Dave's face. You won.
But how many people just switched off?
Yeah, like, see you later.
All one of them.
All the great people stay, so I'm not worried. We're in that in-between stage because it's award ceremony time, so not much new stuff's being dropped. And it's been quite weird to a degree. But things are going to start warming up, I think, from the next couple of weeks. Especially in terms of releases. I know Uncharted, which was another big release for Sony, has released internationally. It's still to be released in the States. Disney dropped The Kingsman this month, and that was only released in December, I think December 26th that came out. And it's already on Disney.
That wasn't too bad, actually. I just watched that.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll be able to get into that. I think we'll get into that. But first, before we get on to our reviews, and reviews we've got at the moment are Kingsman, Boba Fett, Fresh Prince, Tom and Pam, and I've got a little review of Star Trek Discovery, the greatest Star Trek series ever. But before we get there, let's hit off with a few stories. So it's been trailer heavy this week. There's been a lot of trailers being dropped here, there, and everywhere. And I do feel a bit sorry for DC, because DC, right, again, I don't know whether Marvel just likes winding them up or taking the piss out of them. DC will drop a decent half easy trailer, right? They'll drop a decent, nice trailer.
I wouldn't say a decent, nice trailer. Again, it was very dark.
Yeah, but they'll drop some good stuff and people are like, wow.
Yeah, but it's all darkness again. There's no daylight fights or anything.
Yeah, and
all
I think
filmed in the
last week they dropped a full trailer for, I think the final trailer for the Batman, which comes out in
next week, isn't it? Week after next.
I think March. I think it's
March the 3rd.
God,
Stupid like that.
It might be. Let me see. Batman
12th.
UK release date. So it's actually out on the 12th of March. No, I've got the 4th for the UK.
Well, there you go.
So you've got the Batman coming out on the 4th of March, which isn't long to go, but the final trailer came out last week, and that was a really, really cool trailer. And then this week they've dropped the DC teaser trailer, which was a clip of everything coming out from DC, whether it was comic books, but movies as well. So Everybody Needs a Hero was the theme of it. And what do you think of that, Dave? Because I think I saw Black Adam, The Flash, and the Batman. They have clips of it.
And Aquaman.
Oh, yes. What could be better than being a king?
Yeah, he was sitting on the throne, wasn't he? So, yeah.
Jason, the newly single Jason Momoa, who's hit it up big as Aquaman, and his career trajectory seems to be on an upward drift. And I can't get enough Momoa. I saw him in C, and that was brilliant.
He's brilliant.
I may even go back and watch
C.
Conan. His version of Conan. I may go back and watch that.
And if you want to punish yourself.
Well, sometimes after a bit of time, you go back to stuff. You can sort of forgive it. Do you know what I mean? It's like
what, like the Matrix?
Yeah, like the Matrix 2 and 3. Do you know what I mean? Everybody seems to have forgiven them because the new Matrix film that came out, which I thought was quite good, but maybe it shouldn't have been a movie, maybe a TV mini, because it was really just about the love between Neo and what's the name?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
Really? Oh God, shame on you. But
I thought, what's the point?
yeah,
I might just wait until it comes out on a.
Are you excited about any of the DC stuff all day? Because like I said, I don't know what the.
You know what? I probably am a bit excited for the Flash because I think it's a long-awaited film to come out. I think we've been waiting 6 years for this one since they originally announced it, and then they started doing Justice League and everything else beforehand. So it's about time we got the Flash in the movie world. But I don't know. Like I said, all these DC films are very dark, and I don't know. DC kind of bores me.
Ooh. Really? I don't know. I'm okay with DC. I'm more.
Wonder Woman was good. The original Aquaman was good.
Yeah.
But apart from that, all the rest lately have just been really bad films.
No,
the last Suicide Squad was quite good.
I will say this, and I'll say this now about DC. I don't think they've been bad films. I just think like they're very old school superhero type projects. If you know what I mean. So they're for me, if I sit down and watch Superman Returns.
Nope, bad films. They're just boring.
That to me was a bad movie. But then if I watch the new Superman films, it wasn't that they were bad, it was just that they
dragged on and they were boring.
No, was the Man of Steel, was that boring? I don't think that was boring.
I don't know, I think it was. The acting's been really poor as well. And I don't think it's the actors' fault. I think it's all down to the storylines.
Yeah, there I agree with you on. I think the scripts haven't been up to scratch.
They've had some really good actors playing these superheroes.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, I know he's one of your favourites, and then Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck
would have been a great Batman if he had a great story.
Yeah, I think that the scripting hasn't been good, the pacing hasn't been good, and I'm not being bad, but Batman vs Superman made no sense. In terms of the wider Superman story, and that was always my issue with it. And then what's his name did to not Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, but Joss Whedon's version of Justice League just killed it. After that, there was no bringing it back. Even with Zack Snyder's special edition, the damage.
Even Wonder Woman 1984 was boring.
Do you know what? I forgave that one.
No.
No, I had to. No, I went back.
It's on the list. It's on the list of shite.
No, I disagree. I'm sorry.
We all have our own opinions, and I've given it a 4.
No, but yeah, true. Everybody has their opinion. Mine is the most informed. Now, moving on. But you're not taken by the DC stuff. You're not feeling it. You're not like
no, not yet. Black Adam, maybe. I'm not sure.
I fancy some of my DC trailer. Well,
Aquaman,
the trailer's quite good.
I mean, Aquaman would be good. Flash would be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Flash. Well, I think Batman's going to be fantastic. I've got no doubt Batman's going to be good. I've got no doubt the new crop of
the trouble
DC
with Batman. They're very hit and miss over the years.
Oh, really?
We've had some great ones and we had some disappointing ones.
No, the only time we've had disappointing ones was the eyes to see you eyes.
Are you saying all the last few with Ben Affleck have been good films?
I keep forgetting those. Damn it! Damn you, Dave!
Even the third one of what's his face's Batman,
the
one with Bane. That wasn't
a
great film.
No, I'm sorry, I enjoyed it.
Not as good as the other two films, was it?
I think it was better than. Again, I will keep saying this. When an actor dies, it affects a movie quite badly, and I think the Joker was meant to be in that last one, and unfortunately, because of what happened, he wasn't, and I think that had an effect on the film. But outside of that, I really enjoyed it. I loved Bane. I will give you permission to die.
Only if you can understand him.
I can understand. Who couldn't? He's thinking, why would you kill a man and then threaten to throw him out of a plane?
Darth Vader had the mask, and you could understand every word he said.
Yeah, but Bane was different. Part of it was trying to get people in closer, so they'd come in closer and kill him with one headbutt. That was the whole thing. Next. I enjoyed it. I thought that was a really well put together film, and I think you've been a bit too harsh. Thank you.
Maybe I should watch it again and be even more harsh.
Yeah, show it.
I bet it don't stand up to the time.
I know there's something that will get you excited, so Dave. Ashoka. Oh yeah. Her TV show, they've started Ashoka. You know that Star Wars Jedi, not Jedi. You love Ashoka. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, don't listen to her. I know he loves a bit of Ashoka. Who doesn't? They're building up that one. It's got. I actually found
Ahsoka quite annoying.
First, you did, and I remember you telling me you used to find her annoying. But then, who became her biggest fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you, Dave.
Not live action. I'm not a big fan of her live action stuff.
Why not?
I don't know. I think they just got the wrong person to be it.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would you imagine doing it?
I don't know. Just get someone new.
I couldn't imagine anybody better. Well, she's pretty new.
She's been like, how many Marvel characters has she been?
One.
No. She's been a couple, surely.
No, she's only done the one in Marvel. She was nurse.
She was a doctor in Daredevil.
Yeah.
And when she's something else in Luke Cage, or did she play the same character?
No, same character.
Okay. All right, I'll let her off.
All right. Are you sure you ain't been drinking, bruv?
No, I'm drinking lemonade.
It's usually you gives me grief. It's usually you gives me grief for saying daftness like that. Well, are you sure you not be drinking?
No, not yet.
All right. Well, Ahsoka series is starting to build up, and they've added Ray Winston. And I hope, oh my God, what?
Where's this news come from?
Ray Stevenson.
I was going to say.
Ray Stevenson. Because you know what I was thinking of at the same time? Of Ray Winston in Black Widow, and I hope it's not like that. Like, if you haven't seen Black Widow, right, they literally hired Ray Winston to come in and play a Russian. Now, Ray Winston, I personally believe is a great actor, right? Or at least he's a very powerful.
If he keeps his own voice.
Yeah. But why didn't they just hire a Russian? Because but
look at The Departed when he played an Irishman. He was still a Cockney.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I would have been all right with that. Do you know what I mean? He's a gangster. It doesn't matter if he's still a Cockney. It's like, yeah, he's one of the family, but he's one of those, English guys. One of those, limeys. I could have handled that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in Black Widow, you must do. Hey, my pretty, you must. What, Ray?
Anything for a few million quid, eh?
Ray Winston went to RADA. I was like, come on, bruv. Like, come on, sort it out. But anyway, Ray Stevenson, who actually played the Punisher in Another Life, is joined the cast of Ahsoka. And
God, he did, didn't he? He done it after John Travolta.
Yeah, and his version of the Punisher was actually quite good, as far as I remember. It wasn't a bad film at all.
But it was more of a B movie, wasn't it, back then?
Yeah, I think budget-wise it wasn't great, but I remember some amazing scenes in that film.
Very, very dark.
Yeah, of him taking people out. So I was quite intrigued that this has happened. Where he was going to go from here, and it's quite nice that he's been hired to be in
Ahsoka.
A character in the Ahsoka. They haven't said who he's going to be, but they said he might be one of Thrawn's henchmen.
He's going to be the general then, isn't he?
Maybe. Or it could just be like a nice elderly Force user.
No, it'd be the Admiral. He's
Go
sidekick.
down this path.
No, if you read the comics, he's got a number two that gets him the job.
I definitely think he's a guy that deserves a nice. If he was a bit younger, he would have made a really cool Bond, like a bit more of a gruff Bond, and it's like
maybe
what is it? Maybe I'm not getting Dave excited at all about this story, but Ray Stevenson has joined the cast of Sophie.
I know, and I think the cast is very good so far because they've got Mickelson being Thrawn, haven't they? So
yeah.
And there's rumours that they're going to have Ezra in it as well.
Yeah.
And Sabine. So it's going to be
like Rebels
really, all over again, hopefully.
Okay, so moving on from
where's
there.
Chopper? That's what we want to know.
The High Republic. So I was slightly confused about this because I keep hearing this. Now I know there was a show that was Acolyte, which was High Republic, but is there a different show as well?
They're going to do the comic that came out last year. What was the comic that came out last year? I think they're gonna start doing that as well.
Okay. Because there's now rumors.
Knights of the Republic, is it? Is it Knights of the Republic?
Yeah, Knights of the High Republic.
Yeah.
Which is about 200 years before the fall of the Republic. So there's been lots of rumors about a mystery project under Lucasfilm, and apparently an old Republic era movie could be filmed in London over the summer in time for a December 2023 release, replacing the delayed Rogue Squadron. However, other sources reported the film in question would be centered around the High Republic area, taking place roughly 250 years before the Phantom Menace. There've been no updates from Lucasfilm. They're going very, very secret squirrel about this. I don't blame them, because Star Wars is literally one of those franchises which is the perfect example of why having fans and a fan base is a freaking nightmare. Because for decades, I think
we noticed this with the Mandalorian this year, haven't we? So not the Mandalorian, Boba Fett.
The reason why fans aren't happy is they've had 20 years of fan-made projects, whether it was books or fan films of their fat Han Solos and their, and all that. They've had 20, 30, 40 years, and they still do them, of fans making Star Wars projects the way they want them. And now people can't see anything other than what their imagination tells them something should be. And I'm not denying that some of the Star Wars stuff has been poor. I'm just saying, it's Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's never going to be Reservoir Dogs, right? But when they announce a Boba Fett TV show, it's not Reservoir of Dogs, right? It's never going to be that type of project. And I think that fans expect too much of the franchise now. So I think they won't announce anything until it's very late out in the road. Because announcing it too early just gives people time to destroy the director or the writers. And nothing exemplifies that more.
It also doesn't help that the staff going off on one either, though, does it?
Yeah. Well, The Last Skywalker is a perfect example of a film when they tried so hard not to but everybody expects it to be Obi-Wan's daughter. We can't have her as Obi-Wan's daughter. Yeah, but if we don't have her as Obi-Wan's daughter, they're going to be pissed off. Yeah, but then if we do have her as Obi-Wan, and that's what The Rise of Skywalker felt like.
All these Jedis were not meant to have children, and they all had babies.
Yeah.
So
that would have been cool. Well, they're sort of like the Catholic Church, isn't it? And so yeah.
Like whatever happened to Syndulla's baby? That must have been a Jedi.
Maybe they never mentioned the child. Again, anything could have happened, which is going to be all the more exciting. And
it's all set after Return of the Jedi, anyway, isn't it? So,
yeah, and that child would be just about old enough to join Luke's
school.
Yeah. Well, no, he might be too old now.
No, it would be the same age as Kylo Ren, wouldn't it?
And there's also rumor that they'll be doing another trilogy of films with the Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron as well at some point. So that could also happen.
No,
but that's Lucasfilm. There's always lots of rumors.
Kill it off. called The Last Skywalker for a reason.
Give it to Sam Raimi or something, because Sam Raimi's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, he's got too much to do.
Fire. Right. So
what's he done? He's done the multiverse. He's done 4. And he's got another one on the pipeline as well. He done Love and Thunder, didn't he?
No. That's
done Ragnarok?
Tika. What's his name?
Yeah.
Right. So Obi-Wan. Next story. Obi-Wan's new Vader duel can answer a 7-year-old canon mystery. What mystery was that, Dave?
I don't know.
What mystery was a mystery?
What happened?
Was there a mystery?
Why did he leave him behind?
Up until now, Lucasfilm.
Why did they leave him on the burning rock?
Focused on the brand of characters, or side characters like that. Now it's moving 2 stars to the franchise.
Well, I suppose they had 3 fights, haven't they? And you only ever saw 2.
Right, okay. The Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show could finally resolve a Mustafar mystery that's run all the way back to Star Wars Rebels. Season 1 ended up with
big fight. The big fight,
captured and taken to Mustafar, a planet Hera had only heard of once before. When Kanan described it where Jedi go to die, it's a curious comment confirming the galaxy didn't know Vader was based on Mustafar, but yet somehow Jedi had come to know none of their orders should ever go there. The clear implication that is a high-profile Jedi had either traveled to or be taken to Mustafar, where Darth Vader killed him. Given Obi-Wan is the first story starring a Jedi to be set in this period, it would be the perfect opportunity to explore this. I didn't know that was a mystery.
It was a mystery. We all saw it.
Well, Lord, I think again.
Maybe they just need,
I don't want to
need to fight it out, eh?
I don't want to encourage Disney or Lucasfilm to try and cash checks its ass can't pay, but Obi-Wan, Darth Vader smack around would be very, very exciting for the big screen. I think again it's too late, too long, too late for that to actually.
Didn't Darth Vader have a fight with Ahsoka in Rebels? Yes. And then that's how he pulled her out, wasn't it? To save her.
Yes, Ezra pulled her out.
Yeah.
But as to what happens between Obi-Wan and we know clearly Obi-Wan didn't die, so the outcome of the fight, I don't know what will be the tension for the audience watching. It'll be exciting for all the fanboys with their Kleenex, I'm sure, but outside of that, I don't know an Obi-Wan Vader meetup is going to be that exciting unless there are some stakes at hand, really.
There is rumor of something else being in Obi-Wan Kenobi as well.
What's that?
One of the.
I like your rumors. Give me a rumor, Dave. Come on.
No, what they called?
Tease me like this.
The other Jedi things. Oh, what are they called?
Oh, the Seventh Sister lot, the Inquisitors.
The Inquisitors. Yeah, apparently there's going to be one of those in there as well. So
yeah, I think at least 2 of them are meant to appear in Obi-Wan, and that might be why they're doing it appear in Rebels. I know at least 2 of them appeared in the game, Fallen Order.
No, they were in Rebels.
No, not all of them appeared in Rebels. So I think 2 didn't appear, which was First Sister and Second Brother or something. I don't know. But yeah, so you're going to have a lot of them running around Obi-Wan, but that's quite exciting news in itself, because I think the Inquisitors were like some of the more exciting aspects of Rebels. And the start.
Apparently, it's going to be
series.
Rupert Friend. So he was Agent 47.
Okay.
Was he Agent 47? Yeah, he was Agent 47, wasn't he?
Rupert Friend? Yeah, I see his little ball head doing that. Yeah.
But he was the voice as well, I think, of the actual Inquisitor. So
that's right. It's a nice role for him. And the Inquisitors obviously were former Jedi who fell to the dark side and possibly even played a part in betraying the Jedi.
Yeah.
So that should be pretty exciting for all involved. Now, in other Star Wars related, there's a lot of Star Wars news today. In some other Star Wars related news, Hasbro have released, what is it? They're releasing loads of collectibles this week. So you've got what?
Hasbro dropped a lot this week because they had a Fan Friday.
Do you want to go through the listings? Because you're
there's
much
quite a
more.
lot because they released a load of Transformers as well.
You're much more. Just hit us with the more excited stuff, Dave. Because you're much more of a collector than I am. So.
Oh, there's loads of pre-orders. Like you got the vintage collection of Boba Fett's throne room.
What's the vintage? Is that like
that's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. You got a vintage collection clone trooper of the 501st Legion coming out, and you got a Yoda figure coming out from the vintage collection.
Playing from Francois Home.
Yeah. And there's going to be a Black Series Lando, dressed in the
about time
the Jabba's guard suit.
Yeah, I can see it here. That's really cool.
And they're releasing Dengar as well, one of the bounty hunters.
Yeah, there's been Dengar's become really popular, especially after Boba Fett started. A lot of people wanted to see.
Well, there was a cameo, wasn't there? I think he was in the Mandalorian. He made a cameo.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's quite a lot coming out.
And there's stuff, even if you're whatever you're a fan of, there's stuff coming out. They've got Marvel stuff here. I can see the Marvel Legends characters coming out. And don't forget, Marvel, I think the X-Men should drop this year sometime. X-Men 97. That should be dropping sometime this year as well. And obviously Transformers, their franchise is moving over to Skybound Comics. They're currently in with IDW, so that should drop pretty soon as well. And I've just seen here they've got a Ghostbusters set they're doing it. Oh my god! If I had money, I'd be so.
They've literally put their finger on the pulse of all these toys. I tell you, if I was a kid again.
There's the Marvel Legends. There's the Ghostbusters Plasma series. So you've got the.
But they're re-releasing the Dinobots as well, stuff like that for the Transformers.
Oh, is that on the list?
Yeah. So you've got Studio Series 86. You got Sludge, who's like a Diplodocus, releasing that one. There's a Night Prowler, the Autobot. That was a cheetah. So I think this is all forward for the new film that's coming out at the end of the year. New Bumblebee.
So will you be getting any of this stuff, Dave, or are you off the market?
I'm off the market now, paying for all this stuff.
Dave, if I win the lottery, I'm going to get you back in there. I just like, look, some of this stuff is really, really cool.
It's cool, but when you just leave it in a box and you don't use it, it's just uncool, isn't it?
Yeah, but then, like I said, if you win the lottery, you can just get one of those man caves, the proper man caves. I'll buy a flat, right, a popular bachelor like flat, and then you can move in, and then we'll create the world's greatest man cave.
Oh, so get out of my room and play with my toys.
Yeah, and then
I'll sit in my Darth Vader helmet.
It's yeah, but yeah, that looks like if you're a collector of toys and models, my god, you're in for a great treat.
Hasbro has really pulled it out this year.
Yeah, they're putting the guns out, and quite honestly, it looks like a huge amount of fun. And I know a lot of people take the piss out of toy and model collectors, but I'd just like to say some of this stuff is really good quality, and if you could put it up in a house or a room and set them properly.
It's been decades. It's so modern now.
Yeah, it just looks like really, really good art. And I certainly wouldn't be embarrassed to have a lot of this stuff. But right now, I have neither the space or the money. So not this side of the galaxy or anywhere else. Right, so moving on. Let's see. Oh, HBO. No, I don't have HBO, but I know you've got access to HBO, Dave, and you've been watching a lot of it.
Most of HBO stuff's on Sky, so
I know, but I don't have Sky, darling. And
you had Now TV, you got rid of it.
Is there anything exciting that's coming up?
Not particularly. Is there anything you've seen that's got you switching? Not really. The Righteous Gemstones, that's just restarted. That was quite funny as a comedy series to watch, but I don't know. That's just it's very hit and miss.
You had Peacemaker.
Because over here you have a lot of.
I know the last time it was at The Flight Attendant. You like that one?
I like the first 3 episodes, and then it just got stupid.
I can't see much else. Ghosts, which is based on a British Rent a Ghost. That was a British one, wasn't it?
Well, there's a lot of stuff on HBO Max that is like British, like Succession. That's a British program, I think. I Hate Susie with Billy Piper. That was a British program. I think Ghost is British. That was on Channel 4, I do believe. And so was that Seth Lex Flats, and It's a Sin. Quite a lot of English programs go over to HBO Max.
And I know you watched Raised by Wolves. I had to watch a YouTube video based on it just to tell me what was going on. I really couldn't be bothered. I was like, I didn't understand what's going on at all. And now I'm up to date, so I may try and watch season 2 when it comes out. But did you like season 1?
I did at the beginning, and then it just there's another one of those that you just don't know what's going on. You get confused. And even like the main characters weren't even in it, really. You think that what's his name? Travis, I can't remember his surname. The one that played Ragnar.
Yeah.
He was hardly in it, and he was like meant to be one of the main characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll try it, I suppose, but it's not
right, so what else is there? Yeah, I was quite surprised. Just a quick story. Uncharted has brought in 21 million worldwide already. I know it hasn't been released in the States, and I'm pretty sure it's not being released in the UK. That's one film I wanted to see.
So where's it been released then?
I don't know, probably out in the Middle East, I would assume, unless... No, it has been released here. Denmark, Iceland, Europe. It has indeed had a Europe release. I might go and watch that at the end of the weekend. I might go and watch it on the weekend. What was that?
I said I didn't even know it was released yet.
Yeah, 11th of February that came out. So that came out on a Friday.
Last Friday. Well, that had a big showing of people advertising everywhere. I suppose it is just in time for half term over here, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so I reckon it's gonna do all right. I've got no problems with Uncharted. I know people don't like. They think Tom Holland's maybe a bit too young, but I'm like, I don't care. Is it an interesting film or not? So that's something I'll definitely.
I think they all see him as like a bloody 16-year-old boy, and he's not a 16-year-old boy.
No, it's at least what 24, 25.
He's 24, yeah, 23, 24. So
yeah, so I reckon that's
just because he plays a 16-year-old as Spider-Man doesn't really mean he is 16, you know.
He's too young.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I apologize. Yes.
Did you stay up and watch Super Bowl?
Speaking of trailers, no. But funny you should mention that, Dave, because the big Super Bowl halftime, or I think it's like the Super Bowl trailer came out, which is a bit of a tradition to drop your biggest movie. That came out. Did you stay up and watch it? I know you were threatening to.
Stayed up to the halfway through the third quarter, and then I just had to go to sleep. I couldn't stay up any longer. So about 2:00.
And have you watched the trailer since then?
They don't really show the trailers over here, so you have to look at them because we have different adverts. So we don't really get all the cool adverts and stuff like that. We just get the standard shite that we got. So you have to go on the internet and troll it.
Well, they dropped a few big trailers. One of them, I've got here, Bel Air dropped. I didn't actually watch it.
No, that actually dropped as a program.
Okay.
So that came out yesterday on the 13th, and it came out over here today.
And you've watched a few of those episodes, and we'll talk about.
I've watched the first 3 episodes because that's what they've dropped.
I
vowed to myself I wouldn't watch it, and I did.
The DC, The World Needs Heroes, that dropped again, but and then they had what was it? Another Moon Knight trailer dropped, and Sonic dropped. Jordan Peele's Nope dropped, which I still couldn't tell you what that's about.
It still feels really weird that Idris Elba's Knuckles. It just sounds wrong.
I think the way some people described it to me, women, is incredibly arousing.
Okay, whoever floats your boat, I suppose.
A
red hedgehog with Idris Elba's voice.
By far, after watching all the trailers, and Lost City, sorry, that was another one that dropped. The biggest one, the ones that stood out the most for me, were the Lord of the Rings one, which, again, I'm hoping it's good. And it already seems like it's fixing the mistakes of Lord of the Rings itself by actually having more than 2 women in it. Which like I said,
this is a prequel of the prequel, right?
Yeah. They've already got more women in it, which, if anything, like Lord of the Rings, the
but they all died out in The Hobbit, all the women, right?
Yeah.
But they still bred.
They've now got females in Lord of the Rings. It looks fantastic. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can watch it on there. Looks fantastic. Looks really, really like it's going to be a very big budget production for Amazon. Doesn't look cheap whatsoever. So I think this might be the one that finally puts Amazon on the map in terms of getting viewers, because it's already got this massive inbuilt user base, and people either use it or they don't because they've got Amazon Prime and you get it for free. But this one might be the one that makes people go, oh, maybe I need to pay.
It's very hit and miss with its programs, isn't it? That's the trouble.
When it puts some money in, they do well. So Preacher, Reacher, Boys. When they put money into the shows like that,
they're like 10 times faster, and Preacher, Reacher, Boys.
Preacher, Boys. I think when they put the money in, it does really, really well. I think the problem with Amazon is that basically there's almost too much product on there that it's very hard to stand out sometimes, especially with their Amazon. Own stuff.
They need to change the whole layout.
No, I agree with you.
It's too much repeating of the same stuff, and you just get bored, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And also, I think they need to like make a lot more product, a lot more original product that's a lot more interesting. At the moment, there's a lot of it that isn't, and that's the one thing I'll give Netflix credit for. They will hype up anything, even things that aren't that interesting. Like Tinder Swindlers, their #1 show at the moment. It's not that interesting a show. It's literally not that interesting. It's about a guy who duped a lot of women into giving him money by pretending to be a secret agent when really he was just a con man. And that's all the story is. But they pump that into an hour or whatever, how many episodes it is, and it's #1. Netflix will hype
They've done that with the Stupid Tiger dude, didn't they? So
yeah, they'll hype up anything. Amazon doesn't seem to be as good at doing that. And also, I'm not surprised when a #1 show, in spite of The Boys, in spite of all these other shows, their #1 show is still the old guys from Top Gear. So I'm not surprised it's struggling.
That's good. That's a good program.
Dave, I don't deny it, but the fact it's #1, it says everything.
I think Jeremy Clarkson's Farm's probably #1.
No, I don't think it's quite there yet.
Oh no, it is. It's hilarious. So much better.
Yeah. But anyway, it's I think Amazon will strike out there quite well. But by far the biggest thing, and like I don't usually do this, I don't need to see no more trailers, right? After this one, I'm done here. I don't want to see no more Doctor Strange trailers, no more talk, no more discussion, no more guesses. Shut the internet down. This film's going to be big. Whether or not it will be as big as Spider-Man big, it's going to be big. Because they just did they did 2 things with this trailer. Okay. They showed you what it was about without showing you what it was really about. But they dropped at least 2 big cameos in this. And they dropped cameos that people, unless you look at really hard, you won't see as well. But my God. Like bringing in the X-Men like this is a big move for them. If you haven't seen the trailer, spoilers, not my problem.
That's if he is playing who you think he is.
No, he is. Look, Marvel got a lot of balls in them, but not that much. And the Illuminati, which this seems to be referencing in the comic book, it was Iron Man, Black Panther, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and I think that was it. I think at one point Doctor Doom was part of it, but that wasn't until later on. So I'm guessing that not only are you going to get Patrick Stewart, you're probably going to get at least one of the Mr. Fantastics and Black Bolts. You're going to get a few characters from a few other Marvel films up there with Patrick Stewart. Because why? They've got the Disney money. Clearly, they've got that Disney money and just gone, let's do it. Let's just.
And who is the young girl meant to be? Is that meant to be Miss Marvel?
Which one? No, that's Miss America, Miss Chavez, who is her ability is she can go through different dimensions, and she does it by punching. She can punch or kick a hole through, and it comes out in the shape of a star. So she's gonna be one of the young Avengers when that kicks off, but she's like quite pivotal in terms of the story, because I reckon she's gonna be how Strange saves the day. I keep yawning. I do apologize. I'm not tired. I think I'm in Yawnville.
Boardville.
But yes. But Dave, what do you think? Are you excited about this?
Yes and no. I actually want to know what's going on. Just do you know, like when there's too many people, it kind of makes the film go bad.
I got you, but then I think Marvel's aware of that, and I don't think they'll make that mistake with this.
Like the Avengers was good. There was Marvel, but this one there could be too many. You think Endgame? There was so many characters and cameos. It was crazy. And this is going to be just like that, isn't it?
No, I doubt it, because at the moment, in terms of main characters, you've got Doctor Strange, you've got Scarlet Witch, you've got America Chavez. Everybody else is background, and I think the Illuminati will just be, like I said, those characters will.
Yeah, but trouble is, it's all gonna be background. But it's like, oh, did you see such and such is now in? It's like, oh man, come on, you're taking away from the whole film.
Maybe we should tell him.
I try not to be negative about this stuff, but you can already see what's going to happen.
I don't blame you, but I think it's going to be really exciting, and I think you're going to see the other cameo you will see is Captain Carter. Apparently, somebody spotted a shield in there. So I think that's going to be the other cameo, and you'll see up on the bridge. You'll see the Mr. Fantastic, possibly from the first Fantastic Four film. You'll see Iron Man, Tony Stark, but it'll be Tom Cruise. And you'll see, and I think it will lay itself out like that. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where,
as long as they're just like blip cameos, then I won't care. But
no, I think
you just know half this stuff's just going to take over the film, and it's like that you don't want it to happen.
I doubt it. At least I hope not, because I hope this is going to be like Civil. Did you enjoy Civil War? Right,
Civil War was good. Yeah.
So at most it'll be like Civil War. So you'll have a moment when there's lots of people there, but at the most it just seems like a showdown between Doctor Strange and evil Doctor Strange, and
probably about 9 billion different characters from the Marvel universe. And then they're gonna make these like characters come in that have like the best powers in the world and just shove them to the side like they're rubbish.
If that happens, all you're gonna hear from me is just that. It'll make me really, really happy.
I'm not gonna knock the film before I've seen it. I'm gonna watch it and then I'll say what I've got to say.
I'm gonna do my best not to watch any more trailers, because
when's that come out? March as well.
No, that is I think April.
So that comes out a month after Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that'll be fine.
Batman. Just planning my cinema trips for this month.
No, it's May the 6th. for
Really? That
Doctor
late?
Nurse. Yeah. Well, you've got a lot in between. You've got Batman. You'll have, I think you've got another DC movie coming out, and you've got a few big movies dropping.
Morbius was meant to come out, wasn't it?
Yeah, Morbius is April 2nd. I'm just looking up the list. I'm just looking up the UK list of film release dates.
You can't go up with those lists though, because they all chip and change all the time.
Yeah, they always will, but I think March the 4th for the Batman.
It'll have to come out before May,
so
because you've got loads of stuff coming out.
we've had Uncharted.
I think 4 comes out in July, doesn't it?
Duke, March. Turning Red is March 11th, but that's Disney Plus only. Apparently, there's a Downton Abbey film. Is that for real?
That'd be the second one then.
You've got The Lost City on the 25th of March. The Bad Guys, Morbius, April 1st. Sonic the Hedgehog, April 1st. Fantastic Beasts, April 8th. And Phantom of the Opera. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I'm going to go and watch. And then you got Doctor Strange. So you've got a lot of films coming in between. I
won't be wasting my cash.
You won't have to, mate.
Be staying in my pocket, that stuff.
Not even Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
No. When I watched the other one, I thought it was okay, but I didn't go to cinema to watch it. I waited for it to come on TV.
Okay, all right. And the Northman looks really good. That's at April 22nd, so I might watch that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of films coming out. So if I was you, I think this, like I said, what a year to be a nerd. This could be the year that breaks your bank as far as the types of movies you got coming out now. But yeah, I think there's that film blew everything away. And again, it blows DC out of the water. DC's only financially viable property seems to be Batman, and Batman when it's only Batman, and that's it.
Black Adam.
Whether or not, but Black Adam has yet to be proven. You know what I mean? I think Shazam did really well, didn't it? But they haven't announced.
Everyone's ranting and raving about Shazam, and it wasn't a particularly good film, was it? Let's face it.
It was really enjoyable. No, I disagree. I think
it was one of those
really enjoyable movies.
Stupid superhero movies.
Well, yeah, but that was what was so enjoyable about it. But
the trouble is with Shazam, he's like one of the gods to Black Adam, isn't he?
He's what Black Adam used to be.
He's one of the Immortals. Yeah, whatever they called them.
But we'll see. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with. I really enjoyed Shazam. I agree it wasn't as great as it should have been and could have been, but the sequel looks pretty nifty. And I know they dropped a trailer for that last year, and I don't know when the release date is for
2023.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! But it's completed. That's a really long time to.
Well, they want Black Adam to be in first because he's probably in that as well.
But yeah, that's happening soon. So that's the end of our movie news, if you will. Not as many stories as usual, but I'm sure they were enjoyable stories nevertheless. Now we've got a few reviews, a few bounties to drop your way. First of all, Kingsman, that came out on Disney Plus last Wednesday, on the 9th of February. They also dropped the previous 2 movies on the service as well. Kingsman, if you remember, was the story of a young man called Eggsy who was an estate kid, but was cleverer than most kids, and whose father had died fighting alongside one of the Kingsmen. And as a favor, he said he'd take care of the family, and they went back and basically give Eggsy an opportunity to get out of his lifestyle, and he becomes a secret agent, man. It started off as a parody of Bond to a degree. But quickly became, would you be right to say it became a parody of itself by the time it got to the sequel, Dave?
Yeah, because the first one was quite a good film, and then it got a bit stupid at the end. But the whole second film was completely just all over the place, wasn't it? The Golden Circle.
I think that the second film was a bit more together than the first one, and I only say that in the sense that the first one got really bad near the end, especially with the if you save the world, you can fuck me up the and I was like, really? Is that after making me sit here for 90 minutes? That's the level we're going in at, is it?
Well, like I said, the ending, it went a bit crazy.
And the second
Samuel
one
Jackson went nuts again.
Yeah. The second one sort of does a similar thing at one point in the film, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Come
well,
on,
you think
man.
that, and then you think this one's a very serious film. There's not a lot of comic
I
value, is there?
I wouldn't say it was a reboot, but it certainly feels a bit more.
It's a complete prequel, isn't it? How it all began, basically.
And it had some great performance in it too. I mean, like Rasputin, I think for me was a highlight.
I think Gemma Atherton had a good character in it.
What's that?
Gemma Atherton's character is quite good in it.
She plays Marty O'Hara.
She plays the nanny, yeah.
So yeah, I look. I think it's a cool little franchise. It was a nice reboot, but I think if I have an issue with it, it's that it starts off really serious and basically says the British Empire was evil. It pretty much says, huh?
They won?
Well, it pretty much says that at the start of the film. It's like they've got these concentration camps. What's wrong with you people? You're a bit evil. And the guy in it's just trying to destroy the villain. Just hates the British Empire, right? But I'm like, is he really a villain? You're telling me he's a villain. You're saying that he's a villain, but is he actually a villain?
You don't know, do you? Because the bodyguard just stabs him in the back while he's sniping everyone off.
Well, spoilers.
There's no spoilers. It's been out for a week now.
I just thought, look, I don't know. It starts off really well. I just think it's very it does what the last Bond film done in a way, and I think it lets itself down. Like it's going to hold the idea of empire and stuff up to account, and then runs away from it. And I think that's quite a bit of a shame in terms of this type of film. That either be serious about what you're doing or not. I don't know whether this will help the franchise move on from the original. I don't know whether they'll be doing any more after this. I don't see any reason for it. It does have some spectacular action scenes and some really, really, really exciting moments in it.
Well, even trying to keep the bad guy away. It was like, oh my god, who is it? You know, it's like because all you saw was the back of his head while he was talking the whole time until the end. Because I didn't realize it was that bad guy.
No, I didn't figure it was him until like just before his reveal. I was like, it can only be him. Do you know what I mean? It can only be him. But I just think, but like I said, it's got some great moments. I especially loved Rasputin. Who played Rasputin? Which was the whole fight scene with it was Reef Ifans, who was Lizard in Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man. And I think in terms of that, it's really, really good.
Let's talk about that film.
Ralph Fiennes is awesome. I think Harris Dickinson plays or Conrad Oxford, who's the son of Orlando Oxford, and their story points are really, really good. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. I wanted to like it more, but it didn't live up to
shock. What happened to Conrad? I was in shock.
Woo!
Didn't want to spoil that one for anyone.
Don't spoil it. That was a great moment in that film. But like I said, I think as always, this film, the one thing I will give it absolutely, and I'm surprised no one else has tried to copy it, is the fight choreography And the way they film the fights in these films are superb. They're very comic bookish, all the way you'd expect a comic book combat scene to be.
Well, it's like watching the old British Avengers. Do you remember that? The TV series of that, like the Saint and the Avengers and stuff like that. The umbrella fights.
Yeah, and it works really well. And I think credit to them. I don't have a problem with it, but I think maybe it's time, if you're going to reboot it properly, and just leave out the eggsy bit, because it's like it becomes a knockoff Bond at that point, and it makes no sense. And
well,
I'm
one's
sorry,
like 2000s, and the other one's the third. What, 1930 was it, or 1920? Yeah. Did it work out?
Would have been 1918, because it was First World War. So yeah, 1918, around that time, that one takes place. So yeah, and credit to him for having a villain, for having a decent reason for existing, to destroy the British Empire, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a good villain. Would you recommend it, Dave?
It's a very watchable film. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I wouldn't say, "Wow, you must go and watch this film. It's really good."
It's all right.
It's a Sunday matinee, isn't it?
I wouldn't recommend it to.
Yeah, literally, it's a Sunday matinee film where you're sitting down with the family and you just put a film on. It's one of those sort of films.
Okay, well, yeah, it's based on the comic book Secret Service by Mark Miller. Yes, it's another Mark Miller production. I reckon what you'll probably see, because I don't know if Disney own the rights to Kingsman, but I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix tried to do something with it, because that, as a franchise, would be a really nice contradiction to Bond. But I think they need to be, they do the same thing Bond does. It starts off by having the British Empire doing something questionable, but nobody holding them to account for it. And really, if they did that, they'd have a really quite exciting, quite dramatic movie on their hands. But time will tell. That's our mini review of The Kingsman. It's all right.
What are you going to give it out of 10 then?
5.
5? Yeah, I was going to say about 4.5, 5.
Yeah, that's very middle of the road. Now, this review is only a review you can do, Dave, because I have not seen it. But born in Philadelphia, what was it? Back in Philadelphia, born and raised.
Well, I actually said a few weeks ago I'd never watch this program. And I was off today and I was bored. And they dropped the first 3 episodes. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. And it's very dark. It's not like what you think it'd be. It's not a comedy. It's very serious drama. It's got like points of the original programs, like the way he dresses and
so
what
this
actually
is a story
happened.
About how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
Yeah, it does tell you that
take
story.
A minute,
but like,
right here.
It's him and Carlton hate each other, really hate each other. He's also a drug addict.
Yeah,
and it's a completely flip around with some of the same aspects of the story.
But it was still born in West Philadelphia.
It starts off in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And like the basketball game where he has like a little scrap.
Yeah.
This is like against a gangbanger.
Okay.
So it's quite a serious drama. And I'm actually liking it. I wouldn't say I said I weren't going to watch it, and I'm actually enjoying it.
So it's the fresh. Well, I think. Do you know the story behind how this got made?
He sent Will Smith a demo or something, didn't he?
No, what it was is that I think as a school project or something, he made his version trailer of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a serious thing, and Will Smith saw it eventually. Like, it got thousands of hits. It's probably still on YouTube, and it got thousands of hits on YouTube. And obviously, people were going, "Will Smith, look at this!" And that's how it started. Will Smith eventually sees it, sits down with the young man, and they do this project. I don't know if he's still involved with it.
He's the executive producer of it.
Okay. And I know, like, this may, if it's successful, which
I think it will be
entertain the Big Dave.
But they've already commissioned season 2.
Okay. And I think it's a really nice touch.
But I think there's only 7 episodes of the first season.
Well, that's all right. It's not.
But there's 7 episodes of every TV show now, isn't it? So it's...
and if it's serious, you don't want to do more than a couple of hours a season. Do you know what I mean?
Because every episode's an hour long, or around about an hour, so probably 45 minutes if you take away the adverts. But yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil's not fat no more.
That's not a good thing. Big Uncle Phil was like.
Yeah, but that's what made Uncle Phil, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't.
The big dude
like,
that was an American football player that's going to knock your head off if he's bad.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame that he's not big, but I guess they're trying to mix it up. So
it's a proper drama. So
yeah, the wealthy Black Bel Air. You know what I mean? They're very wealthy people. They're very rich. They've got the money to look after themselves, and they will do so. So no, it's going to be exciting to see forward. I'll try and get the 3 episodes. Are they on Sky or is it being dropped?
Yeah, so it'll be on Now TV.
Okay, so I'll try and get those episodes, and I'll have my own review for you.
It'll be on Peacock, the app.
But what would you give it, David?
So far, I'll probably give it a 7.
Okay,
it's not too bad.
That's high for you.
It is. I'm actually very shocked about it.
Okay,
how good it is. It can be. It could have been better, but it's good.
And what about?
Especially as I watched every episode of the original, so.
Okay.
So when you see certain things happen, like when he turns his jacket the inside out and stuff like that, you're like, oh yeah, I remember Will doing that.
What about the Carlton dance? Did that appear or?
No, that's never gonna appear, man. Carlton's like proper serious dude. He's not he's not like what's his name? Alfonso Rubio, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's nothing like him. He's not a Joker character or nothing. He's like proper serious dude.
Yeah.
Who hates everyone.
That sounds like Carlton.
Because like Will's come over to his school and just like Carlton's like the big dog, and then he's just taking away his thunder basically.
All right.
But
well, we move from the Fresh Prince and on to talking penises. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now our review of Tom and Pam. Pammy and Tom? Is it Pammy? Is it Tom and Pammy or Pammy or something? I can't remember. But it does involve. I haven't seen a talking penis for a long time on
you know what? It's a typical Seth Rogen thing, though, isn't it?
This is a show that has no. I can't remember Seth Rogen doing a talking wiener in my life.
Yeah, it's like Sausage Party and stuff like that. That's all like that.
I started watching it. I've only got into 2 episodes because it's very long-winded.
Yeah, it's not the best program in the world.
It's a very long-winded project, but it's still quite enthralling to see this sort of car crash happen in slow motion. And like, I just can't get the talking penis.
Yeah, I was quite shocked when I saw that, especially being a Disney program.
So Pam and Tommy is a story of Pamela Anderson and what is it? The Tommy Morris? Is it Tommy Morris?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee, who was the drummer for Motley Crue, was it?
Yeah, Motley Crue. Yeah.
And basically, they had a relationship, and they got married very quickly, and he was building his mansion, asked a bunch of builders to come in to do the work, and then scammed them. And this is like how actually
he refused to pay the builder, didn't he?
Yeah,
the builder.
It was literally how horrible Tommy was, and unfortunately, I do feel sorry for her. Pam gets caught in a crossfire.
Yeah, big time.
Because I remember this happening at the time, and it was one of those situations where it first happened. It wasn't very much seen as slut shaming or anything like that as it is now, and it wasn't really seen as being criminal. Because back then, a lot of people were like, "Well, why did you record it?" A lot of people thought they put it out there on purpose. In actual fact,
well, no, they said it wasn't criminal because that she already done like Playboy and stuff like that, wasn't it? So they've already seen her.
No, but
they're not exploiting her.
True, but like she's never done porn. Like
I know she never asked for it, did she?
Yeah. And a lot of people were willing to look the other way, while with one hand looking at it, and the other hand knocking one out to it. And it was just nothing like this had happened before, I don't think, in this way.
It was the first celebrity sex tape, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think, but it was also when the internet was starting to become a thing as well, especially internet porn. And I think it took over to a degree. It launched a lot of porn companies and stuff like that. But in a way, it's quite tragic. At the moment, the series is treated in a slightly jokey manner, which people do what people do, and it's explaining why people behave the way they do. But I think it's I don't know. I'm enjoying it so far. I think the performances are absolutely outstanding from what I've seen, because it's got who's the main cast? It's Sebastian Stan, Lily James, Seth Rogen, Nick Offerman, right? And when Nick Offerman pops up in anything, there's trouble coming, right? Because Nick Offerman was in Parks and Recreation. Yeah. He's been in a few comedy films, but when he pops up, this is going to get nasty. But Sebastian Stan plays Tommy, and he's just a horrible person. Like, I don't blame Seth Rogen's character for actually doing what he did in terms of breaking into the house.
He only wanted the safe, and he just came across the safe, didn't he? So
yeah,
he just wanted the guns, the watches, and the cash.
Tommy Lee made these guys suffer for his personal pleasure, and when he had enough, he then gets out of paying them for what they'd done for him. And although I thought they make a bit too light of what that was like for these guys, it's clear these guys were struggling to get on with their, they lost a lot of money.
It's a whole lot of real life happens, isn't it? Where people go out and spend their own money before getting paid, and then expect to get paid in the end, and they don't.
Yeah, and I think, especially as somebody he wasn't a poor guy, he was really rich.
He was really bloated.
For him to do that, it's really, really nasty. But does that excuse what was done with that tape? I don't think it does, but I understand it.
Well, I googled it yesterday to see how much it made. It made $74 million.
Yeah, and I think the film itself, the performances are great. The morality is a bit of grey area, but it's definitely worth watching because Lily James is fantastic. Like I said, if you've never seen a talking penis,
why? Because she gets her boobs out.
No, I think I
no.
The reason why I say no, I know it's like, jokes aside, boobs on screen. I had Channel 4 growing up. It's not like boobs in itself on screen isn't arousing in itself. Right, something arousing has to be happening around that, and the relationship between Tom and Pammy actually starts off quite. Although there's a lot of sexual energy there, it's actually quite sweet at points because it's like, "Are you banged her yet?" Like, nah, we're just discovering each other. It's like it's quite sweet. There's some real passion there, but I don't find the whole thing very sexy. Because Tommy keeps walking around.
Pammy was saying, "Thou shalt not pass."
Yeah, Tommy was walking around with these small thongs, and that I didn't find that all arousing. I don't, seeing her naked, and she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Seeing her naked wasn't that much of a big deal, and I don't think it doesn't come across as titillating or as if it was meant to be titillating.
It would be if he was a 16-year-old boy, though.
Do I ask you to explain?
Well, things like that when you're 16.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, yeah. If you, sorry, that. Yeah, it's good. I let you explain that name because that came out all sorts of wrong.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
But yeah, not for me. Oh. But yeah, it's like, I guess if the younger crowd, they may find it titillating or whatever, but I don't think it really comes across like that. I think they were trying to a degree, it comes off at how they were into each other as much as they were. But it was also interesting about how, and I could tell Pam probably didn't have much to do with this. Every conversation between Tommy Lee and Pam comes across like children talking to each other. They don't sound like adults at any time. And I wonder if, I don't know who wrote the dialogue, but I wonder whether that's actually the case, that they couldn't have an adult conversation at any time. I don't think I see Tommy Pam has one when she's with her friends about the guy she's going out with. But that's it. They don't seem to have an adult conversation in any of the episodes I've seen so far. And that's quite disturbing. And the only time they seem to show any sort of adult is when they're talking about each other and what they like about each other.
It's just a Tommy Lee show, really, isn't it? You don't really see much of Pamela Anderson.
No. Well,
it's mainly Seth Rogen and or Rogan.
And the talking Peter
and Tommy Lee. It's mainly them. They're the main characters.
No, but it's still quite interesting. They went down that road. I enjoy it. I think it's quite good, but I'd question.
It's okay. It's
yeah. But at the moment, in terms of rating it, I'd give it like I'd give
5.5.
No, I'd quite happy to give it a 6. It's been quite entertaining, sir. Right, I almost jumped it. I did jump it, but Boba Fett final episode came out last week. We go into it deep, but we won't go into it too deep. Final episode of Boba Fett came out last week.
That's why.
How much time we got left? Boo, boo, boo. Oh God, we've run over. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Boba Fett. A lot of fans are angry because
I can see why.
Why are they angry? Again?
I can see why.
I enjoyed it.
They were spoilt with episode 5 and 6.
Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good episode.
It was I wouldn't say it was very good.
I thought the performances were really good. I think the action scenes were really, really good and very reminiscent of old school Star Wars to a degree. And I think it sets up Mandalorian season 3 quite nicely. And Ahsoka season 1. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cobb, when he returns, because obviously he's in the stinger at the end. When he returns fully, he'll get his own series as well. I put money on it.
I think this it's actually been quite a big disappointment. The whole series. There's been a few good episodes, but the actual series itself, I think, it's been quite disappointing.
And why, pray tell?
Because Boba Fett's meant to be the biggest badass bounty hunter in the galaxy.
In the Star Wars galaxy.
And he's just a wimp.
In the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, he's a wimp.
How's he a wimp? He killed
This is why we're called the boys from Bossk and not the boys from Boba Fett.
I disagree partly. I don't think he's been soft.
I haven't really. Maybe he's going to turn to an evil badass now. But there was no need for this story of him becoming the king of the town.
There's no need for any story. I didn't have a problem.
It was just pointless. I think it was a pointless story.
I disagree. I think it showed how he changed the character. He says at one point that bounty hunting isn't really for him anymore. And he's moved on from that. And I think that's all this character is doing.
And then he got evil again at the end. And now he's going to become the baddest badass of the bounty hunters again. You watch.
Well, no, I think he's going to become the Tony Soprano of the town. No. I don't... I disagree. I think in terms of Star Wars, how badass can a badass get? You know, I think it worked quite well. I enjoyed the beats.
Okay. I wouldn't.
I enjoyed the Rancor wrangling. I enjoyed the.
No, that was stupid.
I enjoyed.
Why would you not bring Danny Trejo back, coming in with his Rancor?
Save him for season 2, bruv.
I don't think it deserves a season 2. I think that's it. That should be one and done. When the Mandalorian takes over your TV show, I think that's it, mate. You're done.
I disagree. I think you'll see Boba Fett back again. I think they're setting up Boba Fett to be more than just a singular character, and I think it might surprise you where he grows into. But don't for a second. I don't get where this soft things come from.
I didn't actually enjoy it. I'm going to be one of those people that say it was bad. The last episode.
Well, it's getting a 7.5 from me in terms of rating. I really enjoyed it. What are you giving it, Dave?
5.5. Don't get me wrong. There were some good episodes. I think the first 2 episodes were good, and episodes 5 and 6 were good. But that was it.
Well, either which way, I really enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen.
So 4 out of 7 episodes. No, it's only a 5.5 for me.
And I hope you did too. On that bombshell.
Can you use that quote?
Huh?
Can you use that quote?
What, on that bombshell?
Yeah. Top
Yeah,
quote,
yeah. On that gravity device, on that imploding explosive, we've come to the end of the latest episode of The Boys from Bossk. We should be back next week. I think we'll be almost certainly back next week for another episode as the build up towards the Batman really starts to go into overdrive. And we'll have more stories, more talk, more conversation.
And we're going to go watch Enchanted. Yeah. Uncharted.
Yeah, I might squeeze Uncharted in at some point this week or next week. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. It's a big goodbye from me.
And a small one from me.
This was The Boys. Almost done it. This was The Boys from Bossk.